What's going on, everybody out there? It's Ron Brown LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, aka Soul Brother number one, reporting for duty. Oh, wrong hand. And before we get started, I'm Ron Brown in my professional life, Ron Brown LMT in my professional life, Ron Brown LMT on this podcast. When I'm among the gods and earths, I'm going by my righteous name, which is I Supreme. I'm I Supreme Allah every day, really. However, on this particular podcast, we're going to place more emphasis on the I Supreme for the sake of the 5% Nation. Peace to the God. First off, before we get started, I want you to pronounce your name because sometimes I butcher people's names, and I don't want to do that.
Please, God. Attribute is as I am, Shakim Allah.
As I am, Shakim Allah. That's peace, God. All right. So before we go into the conversation, I just want to remind people to make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe. Also follow the Instagram. I'm heating up on Instagram. I'm just striking up conversation, causing a little. I'm not causing trouble because, we don't want to cause any trouble. However, because I know the media deals with, with heavy sensationalism, I kind of went with that a little bit on the Instagram. Check me out on there. I'm asking some good questions on that Instagram. It's NYP Talk Show at NYP Talk Show Instagram. Check me out on there. Now let's go into it. As I am, Shakim. As I am, Shakim Allah. Peace to you.
Peace, God.
All right, on this lovely day of born, that's today's mathematics. And first off, let's start with, all right, I'm going to just say this straight up. So from what I learned in the nation, your name should come from the supreme mathematics, supreme alphabets and things. So like, from what I learned, the brothers kind of like got away from the quote unquote Muslim names. So that's what I learned. So that's why my name is I Supreme Allah. So where did you get Shakim? Because Shakim sounds like a Muslim name, and things like that. So, let's build on that, on your name.
It's actually Kemetic.
Kemetic.
It's Kemetic. At the time when I came into the nation, I was studying the science of Kemet. And it's the original term for the pharaohs. What the Greeks called the pharaohs was Shakim, which means black king who uphold the sacred laws, which I understand to be supreme mathematics. So.
Indeed. All right. So it's Kemetic. And so before you got into the nation, you were dealing with the Kemetic science.
I was studying it, but
you were studying
I was Muslim before I came into the nation.
Okay, so that's interesting. So let's rewind then.
Okay.
Buffalo, New York.
Indeed.
All right. And I'm assuming you're around my age, so you came up in the 80s and 90s?
Indeed.
Okay. And what was your upbringing like out there in Buffalo?
Well, originally I'm from DC, but I moved to Buffalo in 91, I believe it was.
Okay.
So, honestly speaking, my upbringing in Buffalo was not that great, man. Got involved with the wrong type of people, wrong type of things. Young, dumb, you know what I mean? Making extremely horrible decisions. Like couldn't think past the next step whatsoever. So I landed in prison at the age of 17. And I spent almost 26 years in prison.
Wow. Okay. So we just can't just go like that, right? So let's rewind because I used to go to DC, Maryland every single summer when I was a kid or a child, whatever you want to say. And my grandparents moved from Harlem straight to Maryland and Capitol Heights. Capitol Heights is right next to DC. I have family in DC. So you moved to DC in 90. You moved to Buffalo in 91. What was the upbringing like in DC? Like what prompted the move?
DC was beautiful, man. First and foremost, As you know, it's called Chocolate City for a reason.
Yes, sir.
And so, where in my neighborhood I grew up in, the community was a community. Like literally, your neighbors could put belt to ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? And your neighbors showed you the same type of love like your aunt and your uncle. But my family started going through a lot of turmoil. Unfortunately, my dad, he was incarcerated at the time, and I was living with my mother, and her mother passed away, and the government foreclosed on our house. So we had to find a different situation. My mother moved up to Buffalo with my brother's fathers, right? Who my stepfather, and it was a rough road, but you know.
So how did you get acclimated to live going from a community set? That's a lot. That's a lot that happened in your life at that point. Not trying to play psychologist, but it's a lot. Your dad, your old dad, and then y'all moved to, and then your old great grand, right? No, how what is it? Old grand or great old? I forgot how the
My
term.
mother's mother returned to the essence.
Right. So she returned to the essence. After she returned to the essence, y'all had to move. House was foreclosed. That's a lot, right? And then you get to Buffalo. When you get to Buffalo, what's happening at that point? Like, what did you? Was it a smooth transition or no?
It was a relatively smooth transition because of my brother's family. They embraced me as their own.
Okay.
Especially my grandmother from my brother's side of family, who literally I call my mother because she was me and her was that close. And like I said, they embraced me, and it was a smooth transition. It's just young, like I said, I started looking around for different things in the wrong places and made some really very bad decisions. So,
okay, so the terminology is granular. So it just slipped my mind. So now, when you said you're getting into different things, like when I was coming up, the first thing I kind of got introduced to, this is like personal, but I'm gonna share it. The first thing I kind of got introduced to, if it had to do with the streets, was like robberies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was more into the drugs, which unfortunately led to shootings.
Right. That's a natural progression for that world, right? Unfortunately. So now after that, but that's not the only part of your life though. So give me some happy times, you know what I mean? Like, coming up.
Realistically, God,
yeah.
As I look back on my life throughout my years in prison and reflected on things, my entire life was good, God. Even through the negative, it was good. Right? When I came to Buffalo, I wasn't into sports like that. So one of my neighbors introduced me to baseball, and I became amazing at it. You know what I mean? Became my sport of passion. That was my go-to place whenever I was stressed out. I was a hell of a pitcher. I had 13 years old, had an 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I loved it. There was a lot of great things. Like I said, the family structure up here was a beautiful. My grandmother, she was my world, man. My world. And she just made everything right. No matter what I was going through, she found the way to make it right. So there was a lot of beautiful moments. You know what I mean?
Right. And now your old dad, he was still incarcerated, and then
he returned to the essence.
Oh, sorry to hear that, brother.
Indeed.
All right. While he was behind a wall?
No, after he got released.
Okay. So at least you got to build with him, spend some time.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Okay, got you.
Unfortunately, I didn't, because at the time when he returned to the essence, I was incarcerated.
Yeah. Damn. Pardon me, God.
All
right. So now, all of these things were happening. You get locked up. You do 26 years in prison. you get out of prison. What's the first thing you do?
The first thing I did when I got out of prison,
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's appropriate to say it on the show, guy.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Nah, but seriously though, the first thing I did when I got out of prison is me and my wife took a nice drive.
There
The
we
lady
go.
who became my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time. We took a nice drive and just reminisce, and you know what I mean?
All right. So you reminisce with your wife. So if you reminisce, that means you've known each other longer than the 26 years.
Indeed, we met each other when we was kids.
Oh, I love that. Hold on, where's the bomb for that? We gotta congratulate Black Love, man.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a wonderful thing, man, to be with somebody that you've been with since kids. You've known since a child. That's beautiful.
And
So,
like I said, we wasn't together the whole time.
right.
I had gotten married to someone else while I was incarcerated and everything. But
Gotcha.
my wife that I had got married to, she returned to the Essence. And like a year before I came home, my sister-in-law told me that my wife was looking for me. So she linked us together, and that's all she wrote.
That's peace, God. That's peace. So now you get home, you take a long drive. Now let's backtrack, go back behind the wall. Is that where you got the knowledge behind the
Indeed, so
wall?
God. Indeed, so.
All right. All right. So you're Muslim, you got into the Kemetic teachings, and then you got into the knowledge of yourself. So let's take it to through the cultures, right? So you got into Islam.
I was born and raised Muslim.
Born and raised.
My family was Muslim.
That's
So
peace.
Born and raised Muslim. Literally, the Quran was the first book I ever read.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah,
Just like just Mecca, she kind of has a similar
indeed
upbringing. Yeah, that's peace. So both your old dad and old earth, they're
indeed.
both okay, Muslim. All right, so you grew up that way. Okay, Quran. Now, how did you get into the Kemetic teachings?
Well, while I was incarcerated, I had actually became the imam for the facility. And during that time, I just started feeling something different. You know what I mean? Something was telling me I was on the right train, wrong track. And I couldn't figure out what it was. So I started doing research, reading different cultures, religions, and things of that nature, trying to figure out what it was that wasn't sitting well with me. So I went to the Kemetic science and I started to enjoy that, to the point where I started to see a lot of truths in it, but it wasn't a complete story for me. Right? Then one day I'm literally walking in the yard and I overheard some guys building. And as you know, the gods have a magnetic attraction for real. So as I'm spinning the yard, I spin back around and slow down this time. I'm going to listen longer. On my next spin, I just had to stop. And it was just an amazing build. In fact, they was building about something that was kind of crazy. They was building about the science of Yakub. And one guy was getting completely bombed because he made a statement saying that he knew where Yakub lived at. His actual house. So he was getting bombed for that. And that, as I'm watching this conversation, I said, it's something about this. And it's ironic because later in life, my mother told me that we was living in New York City for a while. And as we was traveling through the streets one day, some guards was building. And I was like 5 years old. And she said, as we're walking, she said she realized that she didn't have her hand in my hand anymore, because I was standing there mesmerized listening to the gods build. So as I reflect back, I realized that was the first time that knowledge really struck that chord with me. So when I heard it again in prison, it just naturally resonated with me.
That's peace. Now, what year did you come into the knowledge of yourself?
2004.
2004. That's an interesting time right there. That time was funny, man. That was a crazy time for me, So 2004, and then so what's your enlightener's name or educator?
Master Rondu Allah.
Master Rondu Allah?
Master Rondu Allah.
From Brooklyn?
Indeed.
The martial artist?
No, not that one. No.
Oh,
This
okay.
one, he's in the feds now. No, this one's in the feds now.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
But the
okay.
God had he had introduced me to the teachings on a deeper level, and then when we separated ways, I was building with the God Allah, the God wise scientist Allah. These gods were instrumental in my upbringing. So
And they're all from where you are right now, Buffalo.
now cipher. These was, like I said, these was gods I met in the penal system.
Ah, okay.
Most of them was from Queens or Rochester. You know what I mean?
Got you. That's peace. So you come into the knowledge. What books, before we go into the 5% teachings, what books did you read in the Kemetic teachings that basically held you over until you got into the teachings of the 5%?
I think Metal Netter Volume 1 and 2 was crucial ones.
Oh, those you gotta have those.
Oh, of course.
Gotta
Right.
have those.
And it was various books. I was trying to learn to read the script itself. Right. Because during my incarceration, I literally taught myself several languages because I wanted to learn the different roots of words. I love etymology. It takes you somewhere else when you're dealing with your research. So I was trying to learn to read Egyptian. So I was finding different books, and Metal Netter Volume 1 and 2 were two crucial ones.
And did you get anything out of those books? Because for me, I was like,
I got to push in another direction out of them.
What you say?
I got to push into another direction.
Another direction out of it. That's peace. So 2004, you get, you have you're enlightened, your educator, you start building, you pick up the lessons. So how did you get the lessons? Did you get piece by piece? Because sometimes some brothers, sisters, they get math first, then they get the alphabets and so on and so on. Did you get it like that? So like I saw something.
Piece by piece.
Huh?
I got it piece by piece initially until I separated from Master Rondu Allah. Then the God started giving me more lessons at a time.
All right, that's peace then. That's peace. So while incarcerated, what was the environment in the cipher? What was it called? It was just called the cipher with the gods, or what was
the nature of God's earth? There was a point in time where it was illegal to have our lessons. Literally, if you had your lesson, you went to the box, and I was one of the ones that went to the box for my lessons. This is when me and Master Rondu actually separated. But the environment in prison when it comes to the gods is very hostile from the administration point of view, right? And I understand why. You know what I mean? When you have a beacon of light, the devil's going to do whatever he can to try to dim that light. So they labeled us as a gang. And unfortunately, just to be honest and full transparency, we didn't help that cause for a lot of parts. You had a lot of individuals that were still living a gang life mentality. So now they're under the nation of gods and earth, or the nation, the 5% nation, but they're still having this gang life mentality. So they look like, you see, this is why we didn't want to give them nothing to begin with. So, but it was
yeah, you had something to say?
No, I was just gonna say it was a very hostile environment. You know what I mean?
I want to unpack that a little bit. So you mean they were gang activity? Well, from what I know, especially in that era, Bloods was popping heavy. I'm sure where you were, it was blooded out.
Oh,
I'm sure you were outnumbered. The guards were outnumbered, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, how did y'all deal with that?
Well,
Without coming to become one of them?
For the most part, there was a mutual respect between the Bloods, the gods, and the Muslims, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
And the respect came from the fact that realistic, there was a point in time during incarceration where the Latin kings, Nietas, were slaughtering brothers. So it was either we come together or get destroyed. Me personally, I found a lot of alliances with brothers of different nations and was able to form bonds so till we can avoid certain problems. Like I even created myself along with several other brothers, we created an organization called Peace, Men of Peace, in which we gathered all the heads of these different organizations and had meetings to discuss issues so that if there was a problem, we could resolve it before it became a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a mutual respect amongst the gods. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, let's not pretend like gods are not warriors.
Right. Oh, that's already known. Like, you know what I mean? That's already known. That's already known. So being there in, you know, behind the wall, belly of the beast, you had a mutual respect, camaraderie between Muslims and the Bloods. So the Bloods, you didn't pull any Bloods into your cipher, like and decide to drop the flag maybe and then go into the nation, or that wasn't encouraged. What was the conversation behind that?
You've seen it from time to time. You definitely seen it from time to time, and it went both ways. Unfortunately, you had brothers from the nation that decided to go towards them, right?
Yeah.
But in certain plantations I was in, we had a mutual understanding that if, for example, an individual that was Damu or Blood wanted to become part of the nation, this was the only way he could leave peacefully.
Nice.
Right? So we created that understanding. Okay, listen, he's trying to do something righteous. This is it. We're going to respect that. So he was able to leave peacefully. A lot of other times, it's blood in, blood out. Let's just be real.
Right. Now, this is a interesting conversation because, you know, I have this, what I see is, what I notice, like people that I know that are Bloods, I have like, you know, people that I grew up with that, you know, sandbox, they became Blood. And, you know, somebody hit me up a while ago and was like, you know, man, because he picked up the math before. He's like, bro, man, I'm ready to like pick up the math again. And he was like talking about it, but he been Blood since we were like really young. I went 5%, he went Blood. You know what I'm saying? But he was studying lessons and all that. So I think that there is a mutual respect there, and the gods can quote unquote capitalize off of that, right? Because what I see, one of the reasons why this platform was created, because I noticed, you know, gang activity is like it's like at an all-time high right now.
Indeed.
And I was like, you know, if I can, the children are on the internet. So I'm going to be on the internet with the teachings. Indeed. I would rather them go 5% Moorish, Muslim, NOI than be out in the street game banging.
Right.
So that's just something for us to, you know, maybe ponder about, you know, find a way we could, you know, have those brothers and sisters gravitate toward us.
Indeed.
So now while you're in, you know, behind the wall, you're studying. What other books did you study to supplement your education 120?
To supplement 120?
Yeah.
Most of the books that I was reading was science books, right? Like Gregor Mendel, his science that he deals with intrigued me.
What's that? I never heard of him.
Gregor Mendel is the one who postulated the concept that we know as Jacques grafting. He actually showed and proved that entire process. Right? By grafting.
Hold on. I gotta get that name down.
Gregor Mendel. He grafted the pea plant.
Gregor Mendel. Here we go. Y'all hear that? Y'all heard that first. You heard that first. NYP Talk Show. Gregor Mendel. All right, that's peace. Now, okay.
So it was a lot of that science that he was dealing with that allowed me to look at the lessons from a whole nother perspective, right? And then on top of that, I started researching the science of thermodynamics, which really blew my mind and settled a lot of this for me. So.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
Well, one of the first principles, for example, of thermodynamics is that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply changes forms, right? As I pondered that reality, I started to crystallize how the black man is God from way back then all the way up to now. Follow?
Indeed. Okay.
And it was these laws of thermodynamics that helped that crystallize for me.
All right. So you're saying being that the black man is God from what time period? There's no ending. There's no beginning nor ending, though.
Exactly. From
Right.
as far back as your research will take you.
Right.
Right.
Indeed.
But I was seeing how from point A to point B, that same energy was being transformed.
Now, this is deep. So you mean as in self-creation?
Indeed so.
Okay. So
we reproduce ourselves.
Right. So you know when I was in the dead world, right? I would always say God created everything, but who created God? Right? That was one question I could never, you know what I mean? Like answer for myself, right? And you know, but that's in the dead world. Now, in this world, in Allah's world manifests, God brings himself into existence. All right. Now, through thermodynamics, can you explain that? Can you give me a breakdown?
Again, like I said, energy simply it's neither created nor destroyed. It simply changes forms. For example, take what we know as H2O. Right? It has various stages of its existence. Right? Solids. Well, let me put it in correct order: a gas, a liquid, and a solid. Right? When it's in order to create that gaseous state, you have to heat up the molecules. Right? And it becomes steam. In order to create the liquid state, you have to cool down the molecules to the point where it remains as a liquid form. And in order to make it a solid, you have to freeze the molecules, which we know is to be ice.
Right.
At no point did it change what it was. It just changed its composition structurally.
Right.
It was still the same H2O.
Right.
Indeed.
Now, what do you say about the intelligence of the black man recreating itself and coming back, recreating itself until God manifests himself in his quote unquote perfect form? Now I'm here. I finally got it.
When I look at the science of intelligence, God, especially in terms of being passed down, I'm seeing how we go through, when we're born, we go through a state of ignorance, right? A lack of knowledge, so to speak, right? And we have to develop to our higher self. That intelligence, that seed is implanted within our DNA.
Right.
It's sparked the moment we are recreated,
right,
reborn into this world, right? It's just a slow process. Some of us, it takes longer than others. Some of us can do it in one day. I don't know how long it took you to come to the realization that the black man is God, but for me, it took quite a minute.
Hey, listen, my dad was telling me that when I was really young. I heard it over and over and over and over and over again. And, you know, at 16, I came into the knowledge of myself through the 5% Nation, but I was still struggling. Like, damn, I'm God. Like, that's it. Like, that's like, so everything is on me. There's no help. Like, so I was struggling with that for a while. I was like, come on, there's gotta be something. You know, it's gotta be something. Struggling until I said I didn't like turn every rock over.
Son of Man has searched for this mystery God for trillions of years. He was unable to find this so-called mystery God.
Exactly.
So he come to a point where he agree, you know what? I'm gonna stop looking for something that ain't no evidence of it.
Indeed.
The only evidence I see before me is my own reality.
Indeed.
When I wake up in the morning, I gotta feed and clothe myself. If I don't, I'm kicked out of doors.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed. So thorough dynamics is one thing. What was the other thing you mentioned? Gregor
Gregor Mendel?
Mandel. What other books? What other books? Because this is dope. I don't know if anybody's really listening to this right here because I'm picking up what he putting down.
You know, it's ironically two of the books that I read the most were the Bible and the Quran. Right, and it's because of the degree in the lessons, the knowledge degree in the 1 to 40 made me re-evaluate those books more.
Why you say that?
It redefined what they were. In that lesson, it redefines those books as history. So I started to look at them from that perspective. These are historical books. Let me see what historical facts I can get.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Right.
Well, that's where I have a problem. That's what I have a problem with because, yeah, we can say that, right? However, what can we verify with archaeological evidence that says these things happen in history?
See, therein lies the misconception. When you look at the degree, it's not speaking about history in the past. It's speaking about history that we make every day.
Indeed. Okay, I see what you're saying. Now I get your point. All right.
Indeed.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I looked at those books and started delving deeper. I instead of just seeing the Arabic words, I wanted to learn Arabic. So I learned the Arabic language, learned how to read and write it, learned how the roots of these words, what they really meant. For example, Allah. When you look at this word, it's so powerful. It starts masculine and ends feminine. Right? Which tells me there was a duality amongst this reality. Right? The word itself means, A-L means the, L-A-H from Ilah, God. The God. So it's not talking about anything mysterious. It's talking about the actual reality of what God is. And it's definitive. That's why it has the word the. That's the definitive term. So because it's definitive, you should be able to define it. So again, going back to all the science of thermodynamics, as I'm delving deeper into this science, I'm seeing how there is a consistent truth. And to quote something you use all the time, and I love this from you, God, I love this. The word measure. Right? When I think of the term measure, it's something that you're calculating to be exact. Right? You do it consistently to make sure that your results are exact. If not, you got to start over.
Right.
When it comes to showing and proving the reality of God, it's something that we have to consistently measure.
Hold on. Hold up. I wasn't thinking like that. Well, hold up. I gotta let that sit in my dome real quick. Keep building.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, it's something that we have to consistently measure. And I put a build up this morning on Facebook about time, right? Today's supreme mathematics tells us it takes the devil 35 to 50 years before he can call himself a Muslim son. Before, not to be a Muslim, before he can even call himself that.
Right, you're talking about in a 1 to 14.
Indeed, right? Mm-hmm. That's time. It takes time. A lot of times in this nation, we don't give the individual the time to fully develop. And what happens is we have a lot of premature individuals coming out here saying, I'm God. Let's just be real about it, right? And then you look back, damn, I thought you was God. What is this you doing? They didn't properly measure what it means to be God. A lot of us fall victim to that, right? A lot of us don't see how much of a responsibility this entails. It's not an easy task. It's a hard burden to carry, right? When I look at, for example, Atlas, this is this European concept of this man struggling to hold up the earth. His knees is buckling if you look at it carefully. The original man is God. 6 sextillion tons is nothing to him. We're not going to buckle under that pressure. But a lot of us didn't calculate exactly how much that was going to cost, how much we was going to lose. How many of my family members said, yo, I can't, you talking about you God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I can't associate with that.
Damn.
We lost a lot. I personally lost a lot.
Me too.
So you understand.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of people don't calculate those laws. They don't calculate how your friends are going to now call you a square. But I'm good with that.
Or here you come.
It's 5% of God body stuff.
Yep.
Right? But I'm good with that. And this is one of the beauties that why scientists of law, God, powerful, many gods that I encountered, this is some of the beauty that they imposed in me, that they showed me. Yo, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be extremely painful, but it's extremely worth it. Like one of the things that guys used to always tell me, everybody ain't meant for this. That's why it's called the 5%.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't meant to be an abundance of numbers. That ain't the case. Because only a handful of us are qualified, and we qualify ourselves, right? But only a handful of us are prepared to really go out and carry on this duty of civilization, teaching others. So
that's true indeed, God. True indeed. The measure. Okay. All right.
Like I got that from I read your bills all the time, God. And I see you use that word constantly. And I'm like, let me look this word up. So I looked it up. I said, you know what? I get it. I get it.
Now, to move on to, so we spoke on any other book. So you had said the Bible, the Quran, Thorough Dynamics, Gregor Mandel, and any other books?
Of course, I've read many books such as I don't like this. I don't use this word, but from N-word to Gods, for example.
Yeah.
I even read In the Name of Allah.
Okay.
Right. Even though a lot of guys told me not to read that book, right? I read that, and a lot of the plus degrees that I was able to encounter from different gods over the years.
Now, the plus degrees are interesting because you'll find gods with a binder, book of life this thick with, of course, 120, and then after that, it's like a bunch of plus degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what plus degrees did you come across?
Oof. Let's see.
I came across something about grass. Yeah, go ahead.
Say that again.
I came across some plus degrees about grass, sex control.
Yeah.
You got that one?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Solving a problem, XYZ.
Okay.
Teachings of Allah on the first 9 born.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was many plus degrees that came about. And again, a lot of them, the gods that was around me told me, yo, these aren't actual facts. Study these, analyze them. If you see something ain't right and exact, break it down. Come back, let's build on it. Right? Because sometimes as we're doing our research, we personally might see something ain't right and exact because of where we are mentally, but someone else can actually see the reality of it and show and prove it and give you the actual tools to see it clearly. So that's what I did. I would go back, analyze what they gave me, came back, yo, what this mean? What this mean? And gods they walk with me. They literally walk with me. So I love these gods because they set me on this path the right way.
That's peace. And so are they still incarcerated?
Many of them are, yes. Many of them are.
Wow. All right. And then so when you came home, you started building with the wife. Y'all went on a ride. Now, of course, you got a lot going on now, right? So you got to get acclimated to the new world now.
It's crazy out here.
You got to get a job, just a cipher born, whatever education you got behind the wall. You're trying to, make things, manifest. So, I mean, you of course you got busy the first year or two out, super busy. Now, after that, what was done to solidify the nation in your area?
Well, it took me a couple years of being home before I learned about the culture up here, the
Right.
gods up here. And it's one of the things that I was telling my wife, that I'm doing everything I can. I'm working every day, providing for my family. You know what I mean? I'm doing everything the right way. I'm not out here trying to cut corners and none of that. Hard day work is a hard day work. I'm gonna get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I needed something for myself. I needed something to bring me back to where I can find my peace at, right? I play chess. That wasn't working, right? So I told my wife, I said, yo, I got to find out where the gods is at, where the earth is at, because that's what I'm missing. I don't have no one to build with. And it just so happened as I'm going through this phase, my wife's cousin hits me up. He's God. I said, oh, wow. He said, yo, there's a brother here about to open up a school. No, he said there's a brother that opened up a school here, Paul Cell. Yo, you should come down. I said, okay. Where's it located? So he told me where it's located. I said, I'm going to come check it out. Went through, checked it out. It was new. So it has its growing pains. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I get there, I meet the gods. And I said, okay, whew, I'm home. This is what I've been missing this whole time, man. Now I know why I felt so out of pocket. As I'm building with the gods ask, yo, won't you come to Supreme Educator here? Okay, peace. So every week I'm at the school teaching every week.
That's peace.
Right?
That's peace.
And then, some things occurred, which I'm not going to build on, but some things occurred and I had to separate myself for my own peace of mind. Right? Which hurt me to do because, again, I searched for this to get me back where I need it. And during the process, like I suffer from a heart condition, unfortunately, right? So I'm in the hospital undergoing heart surgery.
Wow.
As I'm recovering from the heart surgery, I tell myself, I got to do something more. So I started looking into creating a podcast. And as I'm analyzing this idea, it just crystallized while I'm laying in that hospital bed. Came out the hospital, boots on the ground.
Right. Now, how did you meet Just Mecca? And I want to build about the other brother because he's like, I don't know anything about the brother. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about first Just Mecca. So how did you say, you know what? I want to do this podcast, Just Mecca.
Well, I met Just Mecca at the school, right? And she wasn't the most qualified Earth in terms of having 120. Just Mecca was new to the nation,
right?
But sometimes it don't take years to see the potential. Sometimes you can see it instantly. And as the Earth was building, I said, something about her. There's a light, there's an aura around this Earth.
Just Mecca got it.
Right? So when I came up with the idea for the podcast, in all transparency, my first thought was another Earth. One that was more seasoned. Right? And we actually interviewed that Earth on the show. But then when that Earth said she wasn't able to do it because of her location, I said to myself, the only right course is Just Mecca. So I brought it to her. And at the time, she was separating herself from the school for her reasons, right? So I said, listen, this could be our chance to, create a mark to show what this nation is really about. I spitballed the idea to her. She liked it, and we took it from there.
That's peace. Somebody in the chat, mental to God 777, definitely an aura around the earth. The earth got it. The earth
No,
got
indeed
it.
so.
She got it. So the other brother, what's his name? You know, no disrespect to the brother. I just never communicated with you before, you know, and then on social media, I never see you, so I don't know.
His name is Shakim. Shakim
Say
God
Kim.
Allah.
Say Kim got a lot. Okay.
Indeed.
All right.
But again, I was introduced to him by my wife. That's my wife's cousin.
That's your wife's cousin. All right.
So
Got it. Say Kim is your wife's cousin. Now it's all coming together right now. It's all peace. So now you tell the earth is like a go-getter. So she's probably was she right on it? Like, yeah, like let's do it. Or
yeah,
was she like hesitant?
she loved the idea, but it had to crystallize with her how it was going to be done. And the same for me, because this is something that I was venturing into for the first time. I knew nothing about it.
Right.
Fortunately for us, we had a good crutch to lean on. And that crutch was my brother, who is the producer of the podcast, produces podcasts for a living.
Oh.
So he taught us little ins and out as we're going along. He's still teaching us. He has us going. I haven't been able to make it to him because of my work schedule, but he's brought Mecca to seminars to show her, listen, this is how you go from stage to stage to stage. This is how you get to that point where you're monetizing, if that's your goal. You know what I mean? So we had that crutch, and I love my brother for that. This is my biological brother, so I appreciate him for doing what he did for us. And in all transparency, he first of all, he charged us the minimum rate possible, not what he charges everybody else. And then it got to a point where he's seen it. Yo, listen, this is kind of a struggle. Don't worry about it. I'm doing this because I believe in what y'all doing. And he supported us through it all. You know what I mean? So I want to shout out to my brother Jamil Cruz for that.
Jamil Cruz, peace to Jamil Cruz. Thank you, brother. I need some tips for my damn self. This podcasting is it's not all that easy if you're doing a niche like this, because on YouTube or in the podcasting space, if it's not about gossip and foolishness, yeah. So there you go.
But
so now
just adding something real quick, and again, I told you this personally. It was watching your podcast, right? You and Mikey.
You did say
that. That also inspired me, because I realized, you can do the positive route.
Right.
We ain't got to be gossip hungry and all that. We can do this the right way. And my whole point was, I wanted to highlight true and living gods and earth that are out here shining, doing what they're supposed to do, living this culture the right way, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that ain't.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that to be the narrative.
Right.
My wife, she literally came. I brought her to the school one day, and she got a bad vibe. She was like, it was some things going on. She was like, yo, it's kind of like a church. And that didn't sit well with me. I'm like, you're not about to call my culture no religion, no church, right? But the reality is, then when she's looking out and seeing other individuals on Facebook that's saying they're God and drinking and smoking, doing all types of nonsense, she says, yo, what's the difference between y'all and them? So I said, I'm going to show you the difference. I don't want my example to be it. I'm going to show you multiple examples. And if you look at everybody we have on the show, these are multiple examples of this culture.
Right. Indeed. That's like a misconception too. Like, everybody thinks that we drink and all smoke, like, yo, peace God. Like, that's not how it is. Like,
at all.
It's not how it is. So now the podcast name, what's the name of the podcast?
God's Power 716.
God's Power 716. God's Power 716. I'm going to keep saying it. God's Power 716. Make sure y'all check them out on YouTube. God's Power 716. Now, explain more about the podcast. So what's the deal with the podcast? You bring the gods and earths on, and that's your format.
Well, for the most part, we brought gods and earths on. We also had a couple of brothers that I know well that are not part of the Nation of Gods and Earths or the 5% Nation. One brother was a Christian, the other one's a Muslim. However, these brothers was dealing with social change, which is something that the nation is about.
Right.
So I wanted to highlight what they was doing so others could see, we got a bigger mission. We have to work together. We have to find common ground. Whether you agree with their ideology or not, look at what we have in common, because somebody else is also looking and they're trying to destroy all of us. Right? So it's other individuals. But again, for the most part, the platform is designed to talk and build with gods, hear their stories, where they came from, their struggles, how they overcame their struggles, how they rose to success. Like one of the gods we had on was the God, my God, King Allah. Right? And this is a brother that I did time with. Not to throw the gods out there, but again, he literally just came home right before me. He's a millionaire now. Literally a millionaire. From coming home with a positive mindset, understanding who and what he is as God, and a determined idea. Now he owns several dispensaries and other businesses throughout Albany area and different states.
Nice.
You have the brother Shakim, for example, right? This God, he has more badges than a little bit. Real estate, taxes. Like the God did my taxes when I came home, right? And he did time in prison. Right? And he's also an author, right? You have various gods that's doing various amazing things. Let's talk about Mecca. She was interviewed on the show, right? Mecca, Earth works her normal job, works her second job, like as my wife would say, being a mother is a job, works that job, and now she's out here distributing clothing and apparel throughout the 50 states.
Yo, I see it.
She's on her grind. Every day I see a different review from somebody saying how much they love her quality of her merchandise. But it's not really the merchandise. I think it's the earth herself.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know her diet. What is she drinking? She's drinking them juices, man. Them green drinks or something going
on, man. She probably H2O. You know, the earth got to stay in tune.
Yeah, yo. Yeah. So that's peace on the podcast and things like that. What other endeavors you're gonna get yourself into, like business endeavors and things like that, or anything you want to let the people know that you got going on? Also, the name of your area from Allah's World Manifest.
All right. First of all, the name of this area originally was Bethlehem. That's what it was originally called, to my understanding. I don't know exactly when it was changed, but now they're calling it Born Now.
Born Now.
Born Now, right? In regards to other endeavors, God, my focus right now is, I just had a daughter recently, my first child. So,
congratulations, brother.
Thank you. My Destiny. Her name is Destiny. This is my everything. So, my focus is making sure my daughter sees a positive example of what God is, so that she's not 20 years from now confused, running around here trying to figure it out. So that's my focus, showing my daughter what it means to be God. Other than that, God, the podcast is kind of my focus. I want to get this to where we can stream it live. It's one of my goals. I want to be able to do it live, like your show, right? Again, you're kind of my inspiration for a lot of this, but want to reach out to God from different places. Like I've recently been in contact with a guy from Puerto Rico.
Oh, right? That's peace.
And I want to have these type of individuals on the show to show and prove Allah is seen and heard everywhere.
Indeed. Now there's a God. His name is Infinite, who I think he is. Pardon me, God, if I get it wrong. I think you're Cuban. I think. So he's built a cipher in a country, a quote unquote Latin country, and there's a lot. Maybe you should connect to that God. I think that'll be
the God I'm connected with.
What'd you say?
I think that is the God I'm connected with.
Infinite?
I believe so. I'm looking up his full attribute right now. Hold on. I got a lot. I can't find his attribute. So
he wears glasses?
Indeed so.
Okay. That's the God. I know. If this is the God, I've known him for like a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, long time. I think early 2000s I met the God. I met the God through Knowledge Eternal and Sunyaz. They had something going on. Where's the brother from before I keep going on and on about this? Where's he from?
Whew. What was this? He gave me. Hold on, I gotta find him now.
Was it Now Justice or New Jerusalem?
Now cipher. God is not from the mainland.
Oh, he's not from here.
Oh, he's not from the mainland.
He lives over there.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's not the same God.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. Or maybe he moved, but you said he's from. So
no, this God is literally from a whole nother country.
Got you. So I think text. Once we get off this, I'm gonna send you a text. But anyway, let's get back to it. The podcast, Godcast 716. God Power 716.
The Godcast, indeed.
The Godcast. God Power 716. The next time you come up here, I want to make sure I have a banner at the bottom so they can always see that and they can go straight to your podcast, make it easier on everybody. You know what I'm saying? On that note, brother, thank you for coming out this evening. I really appreciate the build.
It's been my pleasure.
It got a little heavy in the middle. I'm going to do my own research, my own due diligence. Gregor Mandel and thorough dynamics. And looking at the Bible and the Quran from a different perspective. Hold on. There we go. I'm gonna make sure I put that up on the next one. God's Power 716, the Godcast. Peace to Mecca. And we are out of here. Peace.